Modern education often frames the human body as a collection of biological parts. We are taught to view veins as pipes, joints as hinges, and the brain as a central computer encased in a solid physical skull. This perspective defines us as isolated biological machines moving through a purely mechanical world. 3,000 years ago, the Taittiriya Upanishad proposed a different architecture. The sages described reality as a unified field, suggesting human identity is composed of nested costumes, a series of sheaths that filter how consciousness experiences the physical realm. These are the koshas. This map defines the human experience as 5 distinct frequencies, ranging from the dense crystallized matter of the physical body to the subtle, formless fragrance of pure awareness. For much of the 20th century, classical physics and biology categorized this framework as mystical poetry. Because these sheaths couldn't be weighed or dissected, they remained outside the bounds of verifiable data. That divide is narrowing. Within the last 5 years, advancements in interoceptive research and quantum biology have provided instruments capable of measuring the specific physiological correlates of these ancient layers. We can now look at the human form as a living matrix rather than a solid object. By tracing the science of connective tissue, the mechanics of breath, and the physics of the mind, we can begin to peel back these 5 layers. The journey begins with Annamaya, the food-formed sheath. While traditional anatomy once viewed the body's connective tissue as mere scaffolding, research from 2021 to 2025 has redefined the fascial web as an active sensory system. This fascial network possesses 6 times more free nerve endings than muscle tissue. It functions through piezoelectricity and through mechanotransduction, creating a body-wide web of coherent bioelectric signaling that responds to every movement and intention. Beneath this physical structure lies pranamaya, the vitality sheath. The ancient rishis described this as a field of subtle currents, or nadis, that govern the movement of life force through the body. Current polyvagal theory identifies these pathways within the autonomic nervous system. The vagus nerve serves as a literal bridge between our internal organs and our state of mind, dictating whether our biology remains in a defensive or receptive state. Slow diaphragmatic breathing, specifically at a rhythm of roughly 5.5 seconds per inhale and exhale, modulates this system within minutes. This data visualization shows how a consistent breath pattern stabilizes the nervous system, creating the physiological ground for a felt sense of safety. The physical body and the energetic rhythm function as hardware and software. Breath acts as the manual override, allowing us to recalibrate our biological state from the inside out. The third layer is monomaya, the mind sheath. Modern research into embodied cognition suggests that thoughts are whole-body simulations rather than abstract events localized in the brain. Trauma and emotional patterns lodge in the fascia and the enteric nervous system just as firmly as they do in our memories. When we practice self-inquiry, investigating who is actually observing these thoughts, the brain's default mode network shows measurable deactivation. We possess a biological mechanism that allows us to stand back and watch the mind's mechanics without being consumed by them. This capacity for observation resides in the 4th layer, Vijnanamaya, the wisdom sheath. This is the domain of subtle intuition and high-level integration, where we can perceive patterns and insights without relying on raw sensory data. Explaining this level of integration requires looking at the intersection of biology and physics. Theoretical models from researchers like Roger Penrose and Stuart Hameroff suggest that moments of conscious insight may ride on orchestrated quantum events occurring within neuronal microtubules. If the mind functions through quantum coherence, the final boundary is Anandamaya, the bliss sheath. This is described as the causal body, the thinnest possible veil that allows universal consciousness to appear as an individual soul. Philosophers and consciousness researchers like Bernardo Kastrup propose that what we call matter is a localized fold within a vast field of consciousness. In this model, the physical world arises from awareness, rather than awareness arising from physical brains. As we peel back each layer, we find that the solid world consistently dissolves into deeper levels of information and observation. At the core of the mechanics of matter, we find the observer. This reveals the central paradox of the koshas. Each sheath is made of the space found inside the previous one. The further inward we look, the more we find that the innermost point of human identity is the same size as the universe itself. The methodology of the ancient rishis was phenomenological, mapping the internal experience for 3,000 years. The methodology of modern science is objective, mapping the same terrain with fMRI scans and quantum equations. These two distinct paths are now touching the same flame. The sheaths appear to us as frequencies through which consciousness views itself. The layers are the seeing, and the seeing is never truly sheathed. Take a moment to follow this map. Inhale for 5 seconds and feel the physical pressure of your body. Observe your thoughts as if they were weather patterns passing through a sky. If you can observe the body, the breath, and the thoughts as objects, you are clearly something else. When every layer is seen as an object, only the witness remains. If there are no longer any boundaries between the observer and the observed, then the man and the cosmos become a single undivided flame.